Hey everybody, it's Dragon Uselak from Niko Wilderness Education. I've started a new podcast called The More You Know. And in this episode, me and my buddy Blake Towsley just returned from a 2-week expedition with Tim Smith from the Jack Mountain Bushcraft School. And we just gave a quick debrief, so check it out and hope you enjoy it. All right, welcome to another episode of Niko Wilderness Education podcast. Me and Blake Towsley from...
the club, the Hackett, the SRF.
Just came back from 2 weeks with Tim Smith and Jack Mountain Bushcraft and Guide School. We did the Boreal Snowshoe Expedition, and we just got out yesterday, and we had a day to recover, and we're looking forward to talking about some of the highlights of it. So, what'd you think, Blake?
Well, it was just a great time. The best part was obviously the laughter and the camaraderie of the group. It was just like a small group, everyone got along, just like lots of fun. Everybody worked towards like a common goal of whatever, whether it was chopping wood or cooking the food or whatever. Just a great group of guys and just a great time, really.
Yeah. You always tread into certain scenarios when you're getting the strangers to spend 2 weeks with them kind of lightly, and you never know what you're going to get. And Tim did a great job of being a guide and kind of reining everyone in when needed, but everyone pulled their weight. Man, I had a good time, a good group of guys, and lots of cheap laughs, as we like to say around the campfire. So, me leading into this set of expectations, for me, I really just wanted to get, how to understand how to guide and maybe learn what guiding really looked like from a teaching standpoint. And I certainly got that out of it, but my expectations I was pretty wide open, and I got a ton out of that.
Exactly. Mine were the same, learning how to guide, seeing it from the eyes of a guy that's done it for the past 20 years, and who's also teaching how to be a guide.
Yeah, and I wasn't sure what to expect.
Yeah.
And not only, whatever we didn't maybe pick up, Tim did a really great job of leaving the resources in our lap to, here's the information that might fill in the gaps.
Yeah.
It was open and receptive to any questions we have in the future, so that was really cool. And skill-wise, building the Mokatoggans.
Yeah, the Mokatoggans was my favorite part of the trip. I'm gonna be building more Mokatoggans in my life.
Yeah, the factory will start here soon.
Yeah.
But
just appropriating that native culture.
Yeah, and we touched on cultural appropriation lots on the trip, because it just, and it's important not to, disrespect certain
Well, definitely
cultures.
don't disrespect it, but obviously it's part of First Nations culture. But also, if you're kind of living in the woods and using its resources, then you are appropriating it because it's what works.
That's right, and
no disrespect meant.
No, and we just finished watching a great show, and it was Tim led us onto a resource. What was that show called?
Cree Hunters of the Metassini. You can find it at nationalfilmboard.ca or nfb.ca.
And we just watched this guy by himself with an axe, a folding knife, old.
No, that was the other one. That was Caesar's Bark Canoe.
That's right.
So we watched two back to back, about an hour each.
But the Mokatoggan was used in both of them.
Yeah, the Mokatoggan was used in both of them.
And it was kind of funny because we got to hand bend it, file the steel in the fire, and
temper it,
and it all came from scratch out of the fire. So just to see that we could build tools just with a good
by campfire
was
because there's always this mysticism of building knives and what it needs to be, and they make it seem a lot more complicated than it actually is when it's just a piece of sharp metal.
It almost reminded me of the first time, maybe you can relate, the first time you do a bow to a fire, and you get an ember and you get the fire, and it's wow, I am mad, hear me roar. Yeah, to build it out of the fire definitely felt that way for me. So,
So, there's a couple things that I really liked about it, because I'm lazy in the bush, incredibly lazy. I hate doing anything. So pot hooks and stuff, don't get me wrong, I can make them, but it's just now I gotta go find a piece of wood and I gotta shape it. So his crane system with the chains, as soon as you get there, you can fill up your water, you put up the crane, you attach the chains to the pots, and you're good.
Yeah.
You're not carving. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a good skill to learn. It's a good skill to know, but I'm lazy and I don't want to do it.
It kind of separates, like, when you're actually traveling, living, and spending time in the woods, you're going to pick up on those nuggets that are easier and more functioning.
It's like an air mattress or a mattress versus building a bush bed every night.
Yeah.
It's just not practical to, like, be on the move and build a bush bed.
No, not as a solo person. No. And we had that experience.
Yeah, we did have the experience of building them.
So on the trip, one of the tasks that we were going to do was a solo day.
We didn't necessarily go solo. We hung out.
Yeah.
Because of my poor choice of area.
But besides that, in the beginning, we started off separate. We went alone, and everybody in their groups, and to start a bush bed, collect the fire, and build your shelter. And bush bed could have been whatever you had been experienced and exposed to in the past. Yeah. I timed myself to build myself like a proper, like, Kochanski style, Cherokee height bush bed, and get my firewood for the night and a ridgepole set up. It took me 3 hours.
Yeah, and that wasn't even necessarily all the firewood for the night.
No, but it was what I collected at the point, and man, that was a lot of work, and you forget, like, all the times that we've taught it.
Well, you got to look at, like, how many, like, calories you're burning too at that time, right?
Yeah, and what calories do you have to replenish that? So it was definitely an amazing experience, and like Morris always says, better to sleep warm and wet than cold and dry. Yeah. So I mean, you got to choose your battles too there.
But even then, like you had the ridgepole up, but did you have, like, the wood to, like, make, like, let's say, like a thermal mass lean-to?
Well, and man, I was at that point. I had the wood on the ground, and then I was pretty tired from collecting all the making, like, a really plush. It was a pretty plush bush bed, but I was looking at the wood resources that I collected and the energy. I'm going, okay, I can lay this up for a thermal mass, or I can make this my wood for the night. Like, I chose to walk back to camp and grab the tarp. That was originally in the curriculum, to bring your tarp and a pot and your knife and go for the day and the night. Well,
it's the same with, like, I spent the first probably 2 hours just knocking down trees to take down for the actual, like, thermal mass lean-to. And then you came over and asked me if I was married to that spot, and I was like, well, I kind of knocked down. I just spent the last 2 hours knocking down trees, so I kind of am a bit. But then after I went for a smoke and I seen you had picked a much better spot, so I decided to go and hang out there. Plus, you had cigarettes too, which was a big draw.
Yeah, it was good. It was handy, and it was good because another benefit of the bush bed, the way we normally build them, is we basically used your bed as a stretcher for all your gear and carted it through the bush a couple hundred yards.
Yeah.
So it was kind of fun that way.
Yeah. It should note also that we didn't actually sleep out there that night. I slept in a bush bed next to a fire enough times in my life.
Yes.
I'm done with that. If there's a canvas tent and a wood stove, that's where I am. I'm not sleeping in no lean-to or no, like, made shelter next to a fire. I'm just not doing it.
We've been there, done that how many times, and and everybody but us did it, dude.
Yeah.
Whatever. But I mean, been there, done that, or whatever.
I'm not that hard. I don't care. I don't care what anyone says.
Well, it's not about what anybody says. So
I'm not hard. I sleep in tents.
That was a nice tent too. So we had options of a couple different tents. So and it was a big difference. Like, we were there with a guiding and expedition premise.
Yeah.
And it got nailed, man. Like, like, we've taken courses at Karamat, and we're still teach there, and we're still friends with everyone there.
Yeah.
And they teach a really good hardcore skills out of there that everyone should know, and everyone should be super practiced.
Everyone should go to a Karamat course for sure.
And this was a big eye opener in a sense where now this is living.
Yeah.
Like, you're getting away from those survival hardcore skills, which you need in a pinch, especially if you're going to be an avid outdoorsman and spend time in the woods.
But I find it was more, now you're actually taking that skill that you've learned and you're using it over and over and over again because you need to. And you get, like, you find out what you really actually need and what you don't really fast.
Really fast. And I think the only way to learn that is by going out and doing it. And we've touched on this, I don't know how many times, about, taking knowledge and learning a unit of knowledge, whatever that is, and you learn it and that's it. It goes in the closet.
Yeah.
Where this course, you built what you had or you learned the skill and you were gone for 2 weeks using it, and there wasn't a question about it. Like, that's what we were doing out there.
And you learn what tools like really important. I found like it's the axe. Like I use an axe more than anything when I'm in the woods in the winter. Like the knife comes out once in a while to cut string and maybe fashion something small, but like the majority is an axe. Like, and keep maintaining that axe. And well, the wedge came out of mine, so we had to fix it. And Tim taught us how to we
set the head
properly. And there's just like all these little nuggets of knowledge that we were given out that time. And it was just a great experience.
I agree. And the axe was it's to see the development of some of the other crew that maybe didn't have the axe time. It was super because
he had a really good method of how to like
teach it progressive,
crawl, walk, run kind of deal. And I thought it was just an excellent way of teaching.
Yeah, I was warned before I went down there from Dave Delafield there that Tim's probably one of the best axemen that we have in our community. Yeah. So it was, and he made it apparent the way he taught it.
Yeah.
So. But I don't know and what we got out of it. We got some future trips planned with
there's some stuff happening in the future. Maybe a little group get-togethers, whatnot. Talk shop and various other things that probably should be left to around the fire.
Yeah, definitely talk shop. And for me as an instructor and looking to grow my areas of instructing, I gained ton of skills in that department, and now I can take these skills, practice up on what I learned, because I'm not going to just it's unfortunate we see them sometimes, but we were on this 2-week course. Now I'm going to take those skills, practice up with them until I feel I'm confident, do them 20 times, and then I can regurgitate and share what I learned from that. So I'm going to definitely add that to my website and
what
my
was
calendar.
It? See one, do one, teach one.
Yeah,
I love that. I love that idea.
Yeah, he preached that the whole time. So it was neat to just go around and everyone got a chance of doing that. So, and it goes back to like we keep talking about like see one, teach one, do one, and all the skills we learned, and we often see that there was some tools that were being used like. There wasn't a whole lot of fancy out there. No. And you realize that, okay, it's not like how expensive your kit is.
No. Well, look at that actually, what was it? I don't know if we're endorsing things, but I think that's a pretty $50 axe, and it worked, you know what I mean?
A council tool, $50 axe, and I've been meaning to try to break and smash this thing for the last, I don't know how many, 5 years.
As you try to do with all tools. You don't take care of them at all. Anything, you have to smash it.
I've been really rough on this thing. and I sharpen it and I oil it, but that's about all I do. And I treat it like a workhorse, and it's performed for me.
Yeah,
so
it's kind of nice to see, like, I don't want to, like, get on anyone's case or anything. Like, definitely, like, if you really like axes, like, buy an expensive one, whatever, but you don't, like, everyone, like, gets bogged down, I think, like, maybe they need some kit that they don't actually need. You don't need the world's most expensive axe. You don't need the world's most... I think it's more important to just get out there and do it before... Like, if you like that stuff and you have the money and you want to buy it, then go... But you don't need it to actually go out in the woods.
Yeah, and I had a revelation around the fire one night where it just came out of my mouth, and the term was practice, not purchased.
Yeah.
And... when you buy nice kit, it doesn't come with the badge of honor. It doesn't come with the experience behind it.
Yeah, a $300 axe isn't going to make you chop down a tree any better than a $50 axe. You know what I mean?
No, and maybe we got that. Well, we've seen it all the time, but I mean, good sleeping gear is definitely worth it.
Yeah, definitely want to put the sleeping gear on. Like, I don't know, like 2 or 3 big thick wool blankets. I don't know. I'd rather have a down bag and just me.
Well, I think it's me too. Yeah. Well, no need to tough it. So, and I don't know if we touched on it or not, but it was like the life and learning on the trail.
Yeah. Well, I think we talked about it a bit, like the skill set. Like when you're doing something over and over again, then it's just getting stuck in your head. You know what I mean? Like you're not thinking about it. Like, okay, got to get up in the morning because I need my coffee right away, so that fire has to get made. And we pretty poor conditions out there. It was big temperature fluctuations between cold and warm and rainy and damp and cold, and it's not that easy to get a fire necessarily going when it's just rained and then it's gotten cold and you gotta